one of our computers, this is our latest generation, this is the chip that goes into it. This is the largest chip the world's ever seen. This is beyond the limits of physics. We had to invent some new technology to make it possible to do this.
How many bits are in?
208 billion transistors.
In that?
Gosh, it's even harder.
In that, what we're looking at?
In this little tiny part in the middle.
And what should that cost?
This will cost, $30,000, $40,000.
And how much did you spend to develop?
The very first one, the R&D budget of this generation is probably something like $10 billion.
Okay, so it's Monday, and the Nvidia stock split that happened on Friday is now over. So however many shares of Nvidia you had, you now have times 10, and the value has basically gone to $121 per share after trading ended today. So as you can see, it says Nvidia stock began trading Monday on a new 10-for-1 split basis, revising the share's Friday closing price of $1,208. Now it is $120.08. The stock closed up nearly 1% in its first day following the split. Now, the reason why I'm even bothering to make this video is because there was some jerk off who was in my comments, and he was like, oh boy, there's been a stock split and Nvidia's not even up $1,000 or some. So like, I honestly don't even remember what he said exactly. I think that's what he said. And I'm like, how stupid are these people? See, first of all, one of the things that you have to understand, and I think this is part of the reason why I've been a buy and hold stock buyer rather than buy and sell. One of the things you got to understand is that money is being poured into these companies. But the problem is some of these companies are basically meme stocks. I would actually argue that Nvidia and Tesla are both meme stocks just as much as like Apple and even Amazon and Google are. And the only reason why I say that is because these people who are trading options for these stocks, a lot of them are doing it like on Reddit, and these guys are doing it based on memes. So the reality is there's a lot of illogical manipulation going on that you can't anticipate. Now, I argued, like one of the last videos I made about this point, these guys on MSNBC and CNBC and Fox Business, if you really think back and look at the videos that these guys were putting out, because these guys were putting out these videos every single day and then they were just running their mouth. First of all, the vast majority of those people have no idea what Nvidia does. If you could somehow pin these people down and force them to explain any of these concepts to you, I guarantee most of them couldn't do it. Like, imagine you take Jim Cramer and you tie him up and you say, yeah, you know what? I'm not letting you up unless you explain ray tracing to me. Do you really think that Jim Cramer can't explain no goddamn ray tracing? Do you think if you tied up, what was that guy, Santelli? Do you think he'd be able to explain DLSS to you? The answer is no. No, he wouldn't. In fact, some of the people who listen to what I'm saying don't even know what that shit is. Most of them can't even explain the difference between 4K and SD. Like, bottom line is, these people don't know what they're talking about. I remember in the old days, you had to actually be explained when you were in high school that most of these meteorologists are not really meteorologists. Most of these people are just actors. They're paid actors. And now we're dealing with the exact same thing, only these new people act like they're financial gurus. They're not. These people don't know what they're talking about. If you hand them a script that says, oh my God, the Nvidia bubble has burst and it's all over, they'll just read that and they won't even give it a second thought because as far as they're concerned, they were just told to say it. These people don't know what they're talking about. Bottom line is, I buy, I hold. I've been buying, I've been holding. And I was now, you know, I haven't deleted a single one of my videos. I've got videos going all the way back. 1 year ago, I made that video, Bet on Chips, and I was like, yeah, bet on Nvidia. What did I say? Man Goat. I made the video Man Goat. Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Google, oil stocks, gas stocks with dividends, AMD, Intel, Micron specifically. Now, Micron today, I can look at Micron in a minute. Micron hit a high of $135 the last time I checked. I got a text message because I get a lot of these text messages. As you can see, Nvidia says it was up 0.75%. I guess that's after hours. And Intel was up 0.55%. I was telling you to buy all these things, and the reason why was because they're all connected. You see, Nvidia makes graphics cards for the gamers, right? When Grand Theft Auto comes out, I guarantee you there's a lot of people who are going to be building brand new computers. Not only that, I'm assuming that game is going to work on the currently existing PlayStation 5 and Xbox, but this game is going to be big. There's other games coming out, but that game is going to be really big. That game is going to get a lot of people to upgrade their computers. They make graphics cards, and these things, some of these things are $1,000. Some of these things are $2,000. Like the 5090 RTX is going to be like $2,000. It might even be more than that. The bottom line is, in order to get the most out of these graphics cards, you have to have a very powerful CPU. So what does that mean? That means that either you're getting a CPU from AMD or you're getting it from Intel. But the bottom line is you have to go to one of those two companies in order to get a powerful CPU. You're either going to get the Intel Core or you're going to get an AMD Ryzen, right? Now, if you're upgrading a computer like that, you're going to need better memory. What does that mean? So that means you got to get your memory. Who makes memory? Micron. Micron makes Crucial. Micron makes SSDs. Their technology is licensed by some other makers as well. So the bottom line is all of these companies are working together. See, what people don't really talk about is how much money we shoveled into these tech companies' pockets during that COVID pandemic. When we were at home, what was the first thing you had to do? You had to go out and buy a computer. You had to get a computer for your kids so that they could do distance learning. If you didn't buy that computer, the school bought that computer. Where do you think all that money went? Think about all that money so that your kid could sit in front of a goddamn iPad. And you know what's sad? I remember bringing up, there was a medical story, and they said that these kids were addicted to screens. And they said that these screens were causing digital autism. And then you started seeing that these kids are ADHD and they can't sit still. And if you try to show them a movie, they doze off and this, that, and other, they go crazy. It's like, where do you think all that's coming from? It's the fact that you're shitty parents. You're putting your kids in front of these screens and you think that that's going to do the babysitting for you. What you should be doing is talking to your kids and reading to them and all that. But you're not doing any of that. What you they bother you, so you just hand them a PlayStation 5. Yeah, leave me alone. I'm trying to, I'm doing my thing. But that's what it comes down to. Where do you think all that money went? We shoveled all that money in Microsoft, Apple, iPad this, MacBook that. Logitech. I told y'all to buy Logitech. It was $50. Logitech was it peaked at like $140 or $150. Why? Because you had to buy webcams. You had to buy what were those things? Some of you, video game controllers and such. You had to buy headsets. It's like, it was obvious. We shoveled trillions of dollars into these companies' pockets. If you want to add them up, you got Microsoft, Apple, and Nvidia alone is $9 trillion. In fact, I think it's closer to 10. But the bottom line is just those three companies, that's $9 trillion right there. We shoveled money into these people's pockets. I knew these things were going to go up. And knowing that they were going to keep going up, I was like, you know what? I'm not selling no shares. I'm going to hold all that YouTube money that I was getting from that Passport Bro content before, that started to, simmer down. I took all that money and I was buying shares. And it was just that simple. So what do they say? They say the split means that owners of Nvidia common stock, whatever. We already know what that means. Okay. The stock split is going to make Nvidia a lot more reachable for a lot of these retail traders. Option Research said, blah, blah, blah. Now you rarely see a stock over $1,000 with a 50% implied volatility. So the prices of the options are extraordinarily high. So options traders are really looking forward to the split, blah, blah, blah. Nvidia's split comes after the company's total market valuation briefly eclipsed $3 trillion on Wednesday, pushing the chip firm past Apple to become the second most valuable publicly traded U.S. company. Speaking on Apple, Apple has silently been going up. As you probably have noticed, Apple's current valuation, actually, I don't know off the top of my head what the valuation is, but I know that the shares, each share is about, I can't see it here. Each share is about $197 the last time I checked. Okay, so there's those are the things that they show you, right? So Apple has slowly been going up. Microsoft has slowly been going up. Nvidia has slowly been going up. Intel has slowly been going up. Micron has slowly been going up. So the bottom line is they're all slowly going up. I told you to buy TSM because TSM, Nvidia, and AMD are all basically related. SCMI is so expensive that most people can't afford it, so I don't even bother talking about that one. But the split's over, and we're up just 1%. I'm not worried. Like, here's the thing. The money that I'm putting in the stock market, a lot of times I don't even check it. Like, some people are glued to the phone. Like, the only time that I actually really look is if I get a text message or if I get some type of notification and it says, oh yeah, well, Micron hit a new high, or your bank stocks hit a new high, or your oil stocks hit a new high. A lot of times I'll go through my days, I'll go through my weeks. I won't even look at it because I just know that the money's sitting there. Who was that guy? Papa John, the founder of Papa John. He was one of those guys, just like Warren Buffett, and he bets specifically on dividend-paying stocks. And he said, the reason why is because whether the market goes up or down, it really doesn't matter. I'm always going to win because I'm getting dividends off this shares that I hold. So you can't go wrong with that. You just can't go wrong. Now, if the company, if any of these individual companies, if they start to slowly go down, you can always reposition your money. And you can take your money out of one stock and put it in another stock that still pays a dividend. That's basically what Warren Buffett does. So at first, when we had the economic collapse in 2020, Warren Buffett pulled his money out of the airlines. And, he was putting his money in Occidental Petroleum. He was putting his money in Apple and so forth and so on. So I think more recently, when he realized that Apple's not making anything innovative, he started pulling money out of Apple. Speaking of Apple, I watched that WDDC 2024 thing today. And to tell you the God's honest truth, that shit was boring. I think Apple's biggest problem is that their best products have peaked. And that's not a good thing. The iPhone is pretty much Apple's best product. Now, I understand that a lot of people buy Macs, a lot of people buy MacBook Airs and iPads. Yeah, I understand that. But I really think the problem that Apple is facing is that its iPhone has peaked. I have the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and I refuse to upgrade until there's 2 terabytes of storage on that iPhone, the next one. If the iPhone 16 comes out and it only goes up to 1 terabyte, I'm not buying it. It's just that simple. I will wait till the iPhone 17 because as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing wrong with what I have. And there's really nothing that they can sell me that I don't want. If I don't want it, I'm not buying it. It's not like they can show me something and say, yeah, this thing is great. This AI is so powerful and magical. It can do your homework for you. It can feed your dog. It's I don't care about any of that. It's I want 2 terabytes of storage and that's it. So either you give me what I want or I won't give you my money. And it's just that simple. So what is this? Apple's got this AI platform. Like, they were talking about all this stuff, and I was like, this is boring. I don't, like, I'm sure there's some people who could use it, but it's like, I just didn't care. So I watched it for about almost an hour, and then I just cut it off. I think it went on for like an hour and 30 minutes. That guy, Tim Cook, I think his days are numbered. It's like, he's not Steve Jobs. You know, some people just accuse Apple of not innovating. And, you know, ultimately the problem is they perfected the smartphone. And the iPhone has no real room to grow. It can get better, it can get faster, but it can't become something better. And that's the problem. It can't be something else. So, and then they try to bring out this Vision Pro. Fucking thing is $4,000. It's like, who's got $4,000 to spend on a toy? $4,000, really? That's just, it's stupid. And I liked using it. I thought it was cool, but I mean, $4,000 for a toy. And then I can't even use it on my computer the way I want to. It's like, that's dumb. You know, they really, 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 really need to, they need to do something new. Now, you got to also remember that every year there are newcomers to the smartphone market, and for the most part, most of them want an iPhone. Every single year, there's a lot of newcomers to the tablet market, and most of them want an iPad. You know, every year there's newcomers to the laptop market, and some of them don't want like a regular laptop. They want a Mac. Okay, fine. But the question is, how long can you survive doing just that? Like, how long can you really go on doing just that? So basically, I'm not going to keep on ranting. The last thing to remind you is about Chipotle. So as I mentioned, because every time there's any stock split that I believe in, I always warn you about it. When I first told you about the Chipotle stock split, it was around $3,000 a share, and now it's at $31.29. I think the high was, where is it? The high, 52-week range, it went up to $32.60. So basically, they're doing a 50 to 1 stock split, right? So if you get in on this, if you get in on Chipotle, it's actually going to cost you closer to $60. Now, I already bought mine. I was saving up some more money because I was going to buy a little bit more after the split. The way it works nowadays is whenever there's a split announced, I buy it immediately. As soon as they announce the split, I buy it. I did the same thing with Google and Amazon. When the split actually happens, I take some savings and I buy more after the split happens. Because usually what will happen is, people are options trade and everything, and the stock will actually usually lose a couple of points and it'll go down. But bottom line is, by the end, I think it's July. I'll have to post the actual date of the stock split because it's coming. Okay, yeah. It says Nvidia and Chipotle are splitting their stocks. It says the Chipotle Mexican Grill stock split is set for June 26th. So what that basically is telling you is that come June 24th, you want to make sure that if you want to buy this stock split 50 to 1, you want to make sure that you have your money positioned to buy into the stock split. Now, there were some readings that I had read that they said, oh, maybe you shouldn't buy the stock split. And the reason why they said that is because Chipotle has already grown, and they don't think that it's going to see the kind of growth that it already has seen, which I totally understand. The thing about it is you really don't know, because you have to remember there's more and more people entering the market. And because there's more and more people entering the market, they can continue to pump these stocks and push these stocks in, the upwards direction. Not only that, but if, these companies are popular enough, and it seems that Chipotle is pretty popular, if these companies are popular enough, these stocks can grow gradually over time. They can grow larger, especially because when they do this 50-to-1 split, each one of these shares, again, each one of these shares is going to be like 65 or close to $70, right? Chances are, because more people will be able to purchase it at that lower price, that will spur more interest in that stock, and that will sucker more investors in or suck more investors in. So bottom line is, for every single share I have, it's about to be split times 50. And after the split, I'm definitely going to probably drop another $1,000 or $2,000 in there. I don't think there's anybody else who's announced any stock splits, or at least there's nobody else that I know of. So basically, I guess that's about it. Just have your money ready, because it's, where the countdown is on. There's not that many. It's like basically within 2 weeks, you'll be at June 26th. And if that's assuming you want to buy it, assuming you want to buy into it. There's other stocks I would love to get. I would love to get Costco. I don't think Costco has any plans of doing any splits anytime soon, but I would love to get Costco. The last split I bought besides Nvidia was Walmart, and I'm very happy that we were able to get Walmart. Had a nice little split there. That was nice. But, that's basically about it. So as far as doing these videos, it's like there's almost no point in doing them, because Nvidia's already done its thing. But see, YouTube and its algorithm, they suppress good information, and they they push bad information. They push whack information. And I've also noticed, I watch Maverick of Wall Street, and I've noticed that he's been basically completely demonetized, or at least they demonetized the majority of his videos, because of the fact that it's almost impossible to talk about these things without talking about the politics behind it. And he puts together a very, very good delivery. He puts a very good show together, but he's not getting YouTube money simply because they're protecting Janet Yellen and whatever. And, Nancy Pelosi, because, it's impossible to talk about this stuff without mentioning them. They're basically getting rich, committing crimes. So it's like, he had a very good, I was watching this thing this morning, and he did this part. He showed this segment where there was a senator who was grilling Janet Yellen. And you'll never see that, because the news is in the pockets of the politicians. You'll never see it on CNN. You'll never see it on MSNBC. And I was just glad that he showed it, because otherwise I wouldn't have seen it. Because I don't watch C-SPAN, and I just don't have time to watch that stuff. So that's basically all I had to say.
To be continued.